I'm going to start with something which is very interesting, which kept all of us, busy last week in reading through how does it actually affect the whole industry? Because till date, I think we've been speaking about different models being released, right? Then probably different tenets within this, like how the Copilots, GitHub Copilot, Microsoft Copilot actually supports developers and so on and so forth. But Cognition just went all in and they've launched, at least what they claim to, is the first AI software engineer in true sense, called Devin, right? And when I was actually literally going through the announcement to the CEO, I literally had goosebumps, Shiva, right? And the reason for that now is that while we've had these individual, units around, like the co-pilots I was just highlighting, that have supported developers in developing code, certain snippets of code, helping them debug, testing, building in test coverage, and etc. Right? What Devin claims to do is do an end-to-end, life cycle of code development, management, project management, and so on, right? Which is what a human developer ideally would do across the life cycle of development and debugging and testing that code, right? And when I was actually going through the initial set of stats, it's and two things that people have highlighted that it actually really good at. One is debugging of the code, right? And it has actually been able to probably identify and solve issues up to the percentage of 13.68, whereas any other software in the past has been able to reach close to 1.6% of fixing issues. It definitely is a huge leap, right? And the second piece primarily is learning to code on newer languages, right? Which probably the co-pilots have suffered in the past. So these are the two standout areas that I've actually read on the blog posts and across the Reddit community. But while I am really excited about this, Shiva, right, it definitely seems promising. What's your take on how does it actually affect the whole coder's life now, right?
Yeah, no, I think Devon is fantastic. I'm still waiting for my access. As soon as I get access, I'll start also trying out on my own. But I've been again watching all the tutorials and examples that people are posting, like you are doing. Um, what one thing that Devon has done really well is forget about how it's working, etc. It has opened up the agent market full on now. People with Devon, people believe that we have arrived. The agent market has arrived. Lizer being an agent framework company for enterprises, we've been saying the same thing to enterprise companies. Say, you know what, you can build and run agents privately. But Devon made all our jobs easier because people now can get more, I would say, justification even internally to tell their CEO or their board on why they should start adopting agents. So fantastic job again by Devon. I saw someone using Devon not just from a code error fixing standpoint or GitHub update standpoint. Devin also went ahead and started acting as a software engineer in Reddit actually, so that someone did an experiment in Twitter where it could actually it created a thread in Reddit saying I'm a software engineer charging $150 per hour. I'm here to take care requirements. So it also started conversing. So it's not like just a GitHub expert. It can actually uh, also impersonate a software engineer. So that's the sophistication that Devin has. One could always argue that hey, even Claude 3 is really good, or ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT is already really good with GPT 4 from a code development standpoint. What people forget to realize is in case of ChatGPT and Claude 3, human is the pilot. Like we are in the pilot seat. We actually ask, okay, generate a code for this, code for that, or fix an issue in this code, etc. What happens with Devin is now in the pilot seat because it's an agent and we are just watching. Devin is doing all the job, thinking, going, browsing. We are in the pilot seat, which is fantastic, which is what is the huge difference between what Devin does and what ChatGPT and Claude does. Even if GPT-5 comes out with fantastic capabilities, I don't think this can be discounted. The fact that it can do multiple things on its own, I don't know if GPT-5 can do that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, long story short, Devin has opened up the agent market big time now. Uh, Businesses, if you're listening to this, please start adopting agents right away. Agent future is already here actually.
Absolutely. And this is what really makes me happy, right? Sure about this announcement. And obviously, is Devin has showcased a lot of promising capabilities. But what Cognition is now focusing on is not probably, and this is something that you and I spoke about, right? Bringing in newer models every time with newer stats, billions and trillions of parameters. Eventually, the market is going to get saturated, right? What we should be focusing on, what companies should be focusing on consumption. That's what Cognition went and did. They're still using GPT-4 at the back end, right? Devin consumes GPT-4, but they made a consumable use case on top of it, right? and
Exactly.
I and I was part of this, very very two-sided conversation, right? That it's going to take away the jobs versus going to be really, helping developers, right? Well, obviously, I mean, no one can actually predict that at this point. But my take on this, Shiva, is that we need to see and focus on one thing, right? Well, Devin does a lot of your coding, debugging, testing, collaboration tasks, and so on and so forth. But when you look at the coder's life cycle, right, in an average enterprise, only 40% of that of time of a coder is actually spent across these tasks, right? I just got off a call with a customer. The customer is very happy with the work is going on, right? He's very happy with the updates. He's just pissed off that the team is not communicating and coming on calls, right? So I think that level will still be with the coders. I feel it's a brilliant update to be like it's a coding assistant, and all in all, truly coding assistant. As you mentioned, we are in the pilot seat. I still feel we are way beyond, or like we're nowhere closer to probably this taking away the coder's job.